Hey folks, it's Todd from Snyder's Hives and Honey. Wanted to share a video with you today. We have a hurricane coming. Should be here sometime tomorrow evening, Hurricane Ian. So we've done some preparations. We went through the bee yard earlier today. We took all our top feeders off. We feed by buckets on top. And we normally have a brick on top of all of our buckets. So to prevent the buckets from getting blown off, usually during regular storms that we get. But because of the hurricane force winds that are coming, we decided to pull the feeders off, plug the hives, and put the bricks back on. So we haven't opened any of the hives, and so that way there we don't break the propolis. We don't want the propolis to be broken because the bees naturally glue the lids down, glue the boxes together. So what I wanted to show you is something very interesting that we found earlier today. But you can see right now it's starting to rain, but there's still a lot of flight. The bees are still really flying. We're in the middle of the Brazilian pepper bloom right now. So the bees are very active. They were very testy this morning, and we're not happy with us pulling the buckets off, which is kind of unusual because normally when you're in a nectar flow, the bees are really docile, but because of the impending storm, they know as much or more than we do as far as what's coming. So they weren't happy that we were doing anything as far as opening up their hive, taking their feeder bucket off, put plugs in there. But we're pretty safe where we are here as far as flooding. All of my hives are set up on at least 1 or 2 shipping pallets, plus the 4-way pallets that they sit on. We do have some mating nooks out there. I think they should be okay. We're kind of protected with trees in this yard on 3 sides. This is one of my mating yards that we use. We went to all of our other yards today, pulled all the buckets off. So that's all we've been doing all day, is just pulling feeder buckets off, plugging hives, and preparing for storm. But what I wanted to show you was something pretty interesting inside our barn here that we store a lot of our equipment and stuff in. So I'm going to walk over this way and show you what I found today. So we're going to come in here, and this is where we store our equipment. We've got new boxes that have been dipped, and then back over here you'll see is some older equipment. Those are some nooks back there, and all of those boxes have been in use, and some of these in the back on this side have been in use. So inside those boxes is some propolis, and the bees right now, what they're doing is they're coming in here and they're taking propolis off of all these old boxes that are in here, and they're taking it back to their hives out there to make sure that their lids, all of their holes are glued, everything is sealed up. Those bees are smart. They know what's coming. They know there's a storm coming in the next day or two. So they're in here, instead of going to the pine trees and getting sap and making propolis, they're coming in here and they're taking propolis off these old boxes. Now these old boxes sit in here all the time, and bees never come into the barn, and they never come in here and take propolis off these boxes. But they're in here today by the hundreds, working on these old boxes in here, chewing off the propolis, and they're actually putting it on their pollen baskets. And I've gone over there and seen it. It's kind of dark and hard for me to show it to you, but I'm just telling you, that's what they're doing. They're taking the propolis, putting it on their pollen baskets, and taking it back to their hives and gluing holes and fixing holes that may need to, and glue down their lids, their boxes together, because they know something's coming. So I just wanted to share this with you. We like to share different things that are happening in our bee yard when we can. I know I haven't posted many videos lately, just because we've been super busy. Also, this is the time of the year when we do a lot of swarm removals.
Yes,
we did
swarms.
3 removals today that were all swarms. So we did one late today. I've gotten another call just recently for swarms. So swarms are happening when the nectar flow is on. Whenever a heavy nectar flow is on, bees will move. Now, why will they move when the nectar flow is on? Number one, they can't move if they can't make wax. When a nectar flow is on, that's what they need to make wax. They also need the pollen to make the royal jelly to feed the larvae in the comb that they build so that they can rebuild a new colony. So you'll see bees swarm a lot more when a flow is on, because if the flow is available, they have the resources to rebuild a new colony someplace.
Right.
So very, very common this time of year when we get into this pepper flow. Plus in the springtime, we get a lot of calls for swarms. So just be aware of those things. If you're in the southeast where we are right now, the pepper's flowing. I know up north things are kind of shutting down. You're preparing for winter and making sure your colonies are strong and healthy and varroa is under control and you have plenty of stores for winter. This is our last big boom before we shut down for the winter. So we're hoping that this storm doesn't do a lot of damage to the pepper trees, and that we can get at least some honey out of this and some good stores for our winter coming up in the next 3 months, 4 months that we will go into a dearth. So hope you enjoy this video. If you like it, subscribe. And as always, be happy.